Hey, everybody. On this week's edition of Crying in My Car, a podcast for teachers, we talk about teaching in the desert. It is just as miserable as you could possibly imagine. Also, speaking of misery, Houston ISD is thinking about implementing a pay-for-performance pay schedule. I'm not on board with it. And lastly, we're going to talk about racism in schools and how an author defends a teacher that is going up to defend her position on teaching that book. So stick around. This episode of Crying in My Car, a podcast for teachers, starts now. Hey, everybody, this is Crying in My Car, a podcast for teachers. My name is Devin Siebold. I've got my good buddy, Mr. James Yan. He's a parent, he's a comedian. I'm a former teacher and a comedian. Together, we hopefully bring some laughter to your day, especially the teachers out there that are struggling to get through, because guess what? School's about to start again, and I'm seeing the back to schools. I'm seeing the class lists going out. I'm seeing all that stuff that gives you the crazies.
Do you get the flashbacks when you go through like a Walmart and you see back to school?
Yeah,
do
absolutely.
You really?
Yep, absolutely. And having kids now is like you got to start preparing them, and you're like, no, not yet. You know, and they're like, but everything will be gone. It's like, I just want to hold on to being home. No. You know, I got some workbooks over the summer. I did a really cool podcast that I'll post about on my social media. I did a really neat podcast from a group that does the workbooks for prep for the summer for kids going into the next grade.
Gotcha.
So they were kind enough to send me some workbooks for my kids for being on their podcast.
Oh, nice.
And so basically they've been working in the workbook through the summer to try to get ready and keep their brains ready.
So it's not a surprise.
Yeah. One kid I've definitely got to get on. The other, Gavin, is a machine.
Really?
He reads non-stop.
Huh.
I give him a book, and it's a 150-page book. Now, keep in mind, he's 7, and he'll be done by the afternoon.
Bro, wait, we're going to clap for that. I mean, that is impressive.
The kid reads like he just loves to read. And it blows your mind. I mean, you could put up some mind-boggling words, and he'll just tell you right away what it is.
Gotcha.
Like he can read high school level books already.
Do you know what prompted that from him? Is he always just like reading?
Well, you know, there may have been some genes that have been thrown his way. It's what prompted it. I think he's just so into being fascinated with things and learning things that are new. So he doesn't like being out of the loop. If he doesn't know something, he wants to know it. And reading is one thing that he didn't know how to do. So when we would like play, say, a video game for a little bit, he was asking me to read stuff, and I'd read it for him, and he didn't like that he needed me to read for him. So now he's like, I'm going to read.
Bro, you got an independent on your hands.
Oh, he's very independent.
Someone who really wants to be self-reliant. I love it.
Yeah.
Pray to God he never loses that.
Now the other one.
You take a moment as a parent.
It's like, it's one of those things where they have their strengths and weaknesses.
Absolutely.
Gavin is so academic. Liam, on the other hand, is so artistic. We put him in art camp over the summer.
There you go.
He loves painting, loves drawing, takes his time, different colors, very artistic. And then Brooklyn is in the middle. She's got the artistic. She's in diving. So it's cool to see like them all complement each other and also drive each other insane.
Oh yeah, that's the other fun part we don't talk a lot about when it comes to being a parent or a teacher. In the summer when the kids are home together. Yeah, there's a war being fought.
Oh yeah, absolutely. There is
the losers are the parents.
Yeah, they are. And it's it's one of those things where parents I know are counting down the minutes.
They are.
It's really cool to see the stress that's been relieved with the tour. And teachers are enjoying their summer because they're coming out to the summer comedy tour.
They are.
And they're like, man, this was cool to get all the teachers together during the summer. You know what's wild about teachers? I'll say this. I think this is pretty neat. One of the things that I hear the most compliments about coming to the summer board teacher comedy tour is not necessarily, I mean, everybody says it's hysterical. Everybody says it's a nice night out. Everybody says we absolutely loved it. But the one that always caught me off guard is I see a lot of comments of teachers going, you know what? It was really awesome to get all the teachers together for a nice night out. Like they all like seeing each other, you know, and
they normally don't do it.
Well, it's one of when you see each other, it's normally not a fun thing.
Yeah,
you know, it's like staff meetings, icebreakers, you know, PD keynotes, things like that. But when you get to see each other all outside of work, you know, they're dolled up, they're dressed to the nines, they're having some drinks,
you're not
relaxing.
Talking about work for once.
You are, but you're talking about it in a fun way. Yeah, let's all laugh about it. That's the cool thing is seeing how much they appreciate other teachers. Teachers appreciate what other teachers are going through.
I got a little taste of that when I got to do teachers do stand up tour. And you're right. They're their own little support group.
Yeah, like they cheer each other on. They know what we're going through.
They absolutely.
And that's the thing. That's why it connects, that comedy connects so well, is you stand on stage and you tell a story. And it's wild because you can travel the entire globe. You know, a joke that works in Birmingham, Alabama.
Yep.
Relating to teachers works in Perth, Australia.
Yeah.
Because we're all united and going through the same thing, which is wild. Now, the touring has been exhausting. Everybody's there like, oh man, it must be so much fun. It is.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. Love touring, love seeing everybody, but man, that schedule. You know.
Well, come on, let's talk about the fact that you're on tour right now and you flew back this morning.
I performed last night.
Yes.
So let me give you an idea. We were in Vegas. We performed. Then the next day we drove 5 hours to Riverside. We got to Riverside. I checked into the hotel. I ate. I took a 1 hour nap. I woke up. I went over to across the street. I performed. Okay. I got off stage and grabbed my luggage and went to the back of the theater and took an Uber to the airport.
Yes.
I got on the plane at 10:30 at night. I flew across country and landed in Atlanta and connected to Orlando. I landed in Orlando at 7:40 in the morning. I got home, took a shower, changed. You arrived to pick me up at 9 a.m.
Yes.
Here we are.
Here we are.
And then guess what? I fly back out tomorrow.
Yes, you do, my
and
friend.
Go right back on tour. Even the days that like sometimes we're like, oh, we got 2 or 3 days off. I'm doing speaking work. I'm talking in the schools. You know, we had 2 days off recently, and I went to San Antonio.
Yeah.
Talked to the special education teachers. That was an absolutely amazing experience.
That sounds awesome.
Great people.
Yeah.
Then flew to Athens, Georgia, and then talked to the Georgia Virtual. They had their own conference, which, by the way, shout out to Georgia Virtual. Starting your conference at 10 a.m., baller.
There you go. There you go.
I told him, I got on stage, I was like, man, are you hiring? Like I've never seen a conference start at 10 a.m.
Really?
You know,
what time they normally
7, 8. Like and teachers are all like, oh, this is great.
Yeah.
Happy to be here, you know. But 10 a.m., everybody's like, woo! Woo!
Starbucks in hand. Yeah, let's do it.
And so Georgia Virtual was awesome. And then I got on a plane and flew back to Cali and linked back up San Francisco and performed that night.
That's pure insanity. Like listening to that.
It does get crazy. I mean, it's like, what time zone am I in? Do I get any sleep? Which flight do I have to be on? It gets to be a lot, but I really like talking for the schools. I really like doing the stand-up comedy. I mean, it's a love, it's a passion. I love connecting with the teachers, and when you get to do that, it sometimes gets exhausting, but hey, man, it's what I like to do.
Well, I can imagine, like you just said, you play at so many different places. You must get to some places like, hey, where are we at? And they're like, you're at home.
Yeah. Yeah. I remember we did one in like Fort something or whatever. Yeah. And I go, you know, I'm so happy to be here in Fort, which one is it? I was like, Fort Sumter.
Yeah.
Fort McKellen. Yeah. I don't know. I'm in a fort.
I'm in a fort.
Yeah. Pillow Fort? Is that where I am? I don't know.
That's what I noticed when you guys are on tour, because I follow you guys on social media. You guys get to see a lot of the actual, like, the country, man.
Yeah.
And, like, nice parts of it.
Yeah, and we get to meet people from different parts of the country. And it's cool, too, because sometimes it's really neat. Mm-hmm. Like, you know, I loved Seattle. I absolutely loved Eugene, Oregon. That was one of my favorite.
Okay.
It was a cool little cute city, and great weather. And, all through Cali, we had a blast. Bakersfield, a little hot. Quite a bit hot, actually. And
you're actually baking when you go to Bakersfield.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. That's how it works.
You bake in a field.
Yes,
that's all it is.
That's
how that came up with the name. But it was neat seeing all the teachers from all over. But the cities were really cool too.
Nice.
I gotta say, it was neat. So, you want to jump into the teachers in the news?
My favorite part.
I got some positive news stories. I like to bring a little positivity to it
that.
because somebody commented on a recent. Did you see it?
Yes.
Oh, somebody said we're no wonder teachers are leaving. They're being negative or whatever.
Gotcha.
We're not always negative.
No,
but most of the time.
Yeah.
So, things got to improve.
Gotcha.
Let's be real.
Well, the reason we talk about negative things is we're talking about the things we'd like to fix. And the things we want to correct.
Not only that, but it's called crying in my car. We're going to talk about the problem, and then we make you laugh about it.
Absolutely.
That's the point. But sometimes there's some great positive news. This one's pretty cool. La Jolla music teachers come together to preserve the spirit of a decades-old music store. So La Jolla Music has been around for a long time, and in 2012 the store was being sold and at risk of closing, and a local teacher decided that he wanted to move in and buy the place and said, hey, let me go ahead and buy it. It's been around since 1962. I'd hate to see a musical institution in our society go away. And apparently, now this was supposed to be just like a 3 or 4 year thing. He was going to run it with his kids and try to, have a little music store. Kids could come in and learn and buy musical instruments, and said, I think I'm going to retire, but he thought it would only be for just a little bit. And apparently other teachers are apparently getting first shot, and they are trying to keep it in the teacher family.
Nice.
And the teachers want to keep it alive, to keep this music store alive in the community.
I love that.
I love it too.
I'm a band parent. I had 2 of my kids throughout middle school and high school playing band. So I liken band parents to the movie The Good, the Bad, the Ugly.
Yeah.
Because you go through every phase when they're first learning instruments, but it's something that the kids don't forget. No. And they make lasting bonds with not only the students, but the teachers, the instructors who taught them band. So music's important. So that's awesome that they're doing that.
Also, teaching doesn't pay that much, and you can supplement your teaching pay by being a music teacher after school.
Yes.
I actually knew many people like that. Mm-hmm. In fact, I took drum lessons, and I learned drums from a math teacher at the local high school.
They also knew how to play drums.
Yep, they know how to play drums, and he would teach math during the day and then teach again at night.
Gotcha.
I always thought it was interesting that most of the teachers of music were actually teachers of other things during the day.
And that's amazing because that teacher went on to be part of the band Blink 182.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know if you know this, but 182 is actually a mathematical... No, I'm just kidding. No, I have nowhere to go with that.
No.
In fact, what does that mean? I've never looked up Blink 182.
I don't think you want to.
I don't think I want to either. It's one of those things where you Google it and it's like your safe search is on. You're like, wait a minute. All right, we got another positive story.
Nice.
I'm on a positive roll today. There's a teacher who is donating a life-saving gift to a colleague's son. Oh. So apparently there was a child that is desperately in need of a kidney transplant. And apparently he's 19, multiple health problems, undergone several surgeries. And basically the mom said and the dad said, hey, look, we think we're going to be the donors. Mm-hmm. But it turns out that it wasn't going to work out. Whether it be just not a perfect match, yes, or maybe somebody has health complications, mm-hmm, they can't donate. And so apparently she reached out and said, you know what, if anybody in these community schools, Clarkson Community Schools, would like to donate a kidney, my son is in desperate need. Now, this is the beautiful thing. Several dozen teachers responded.
Look at that.
And said, look, we'll get tested. We want to see, can we, do this? And apparently they found a match, and the teacher is going to go through and donate a kidney to help save the life of the kid.
That's truly...
Man.
a teacher caring.
Yeah,
yes.
but it goes to show you, man. Teachers are caring people. Teachers,
they are.
There's just so much empathy, and all the way till giving literally a piece of yourself.
That's right.
To help save a child. So shout out. I wish I want to go through here. I want to find the
name.
The name. Yeah. But we gotta look it up. But there was a teacher who actually did match, came up with it, and said, you know what, I'm gonna go ahead and donate my kidney. And apparently the surgery went well and everything's good.
Shout out to that person.
Oh yes, absolutely.
That's amazing.
Man, I wish I could. They don't make it easy on this article.
No.
You'd think it'd just be like, hey, this is the name of the teacher, but I mean, that's literally the star of the article is like this teacher. Let's maybe throw the first name in there in the opening 8 paragraphs.
The soliloquy you wrote.
All the journalism teachers out there, take note.
There you go.
This one, I think is pretty cool.
Okay.
So there's been a lot of stories that we have talked about on this podcast about teachers having banned books, in their classroom.
Yeah.
The local government saying you can't use that one, you can't do this. Well, apparently there was a teacher that was again at the center of this controversy, and I'll give you a guess as to which state. Go ahead. Which state do you think this is?
Florida.
No.
Really?
Yeah. Close though. I mean, man, they're chasing our shadow. They just really want to be like us.
That's tough when you say that way.
South Carolina.
Oh yeah,
South Carolina.
I was gonna
really
go up to Mason-Dixon.
Yeah. You're like, where do I feel unsafe? All right. So in South Carolina, there was a teacher who was apparently asked to go speak for a school board and is a high school teacher and was told to stop using a book about growing up. It's called Black in America for the her advanced English class. Now, apparently this lesson has been taught many times before. And basically this book, Between the World and Me, was the one at the center of the controversy. Now, this teacher has had this book in their class.
Okay.
They have used this book for many years. Mm-hmm. It is a book about growing up, the perceptions, the feelings, the circumstances of being Black in America, and how racism and violence based on skin color are a part of our society. Mm-hmm. She has taught her lesson using this book for a long time, and because South Carolina recently updated their laws that basically say that you can't have any shame or guilt upon being a specific race color, which, let's be honest, it's white, then they took it upon themselves to challenge her on the book. Now, the really cool part is the author of the book came to the school board meeting and sat next to her and supported her during the actual school board meeting. Didn't talk, they're in solidarity. Let me hear what they are saying about my book. Let me hear these reasons that you are giving as to why children can't learn about what I wrote in my book.
You talk about put your money where your mouth is.
Yeah. So the author is Ta-Nehisi Coates. And I hope I'm saying that right. Ta-Nehisi Coates. I Googled it.
Yes.
And that's what the Google says. So don't get mad at me if I'm saying it wrong. But apparently this school board meeting went on. They are strongly against it. Basically, there's complaints that have been, sent out saying that white students felt uncomfortable reading about what it's like to be Black in America. Well,
Yeah, uncomfortable. Imagine being Black.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
I relate it to this. Mm-hmm. If you ever, this is the thing that I've always said. Mm-hmm. You're ever on a plane and there is a crying baby in the back. Mm-hmm. And you sit there and you go, oh, man, this is inconvenient. This doesn't make me feel good. I can't get sleep. Mm-hmm. Imagine for just 2 seconds being the mom. Nobody puts their self in the shoes of the mom and goes, what is it like to be that person that has that baby, that bears that weight, that she knows everybody on that plane is inconvenienced by what is going on right now? Mm-hmm. Then it just washes away. Then I go, you know what? That's obviously way worse. I think this is a scenario where you need to go, wow, that happened.
Yes.
You know, I mean, we sit here, we're a different kind of America. Now it's like, oh, I feel uncomfortable reading about that. I think I'm going to go to the school board and make it to where I don't have to read about it. But we go back 150 years, Uncle Tom's Cabin.
Yes.
You remember when that? I mean, you don't remember.
No, I'm not.
You remember, but you remember the stories of when that came out.
Absolutely. Yes.
It had the actual effect of change.
Yes.
Where northern whites read it and said, oh, that's what's going on?
Yes.
That's what it's like?
Yes.
We need change.
Absolutely.
Instead, we are now operating differently where we read it and go, ooh, I don't feel good about this.
And here's what I'll say. I'm not an expert on being black, but I've been black for 47 years. And here's what I'll say, man.
You know, at 50, you get to talk about it.
It's true.
I don't know if you know that.
I'm almost there, guys. Here's the thing. Yes, if you're a white person reading those stories, those scenarios, what happened to black people, it's going to feel uncomfortable. And it's supposed to.
Yes, that's the point of it.
It's not to make you feel guilty. You didn't do it. But what it is teaching. These are what a culture had to go through to get to this point. It's still not perfect.
No.
The reason that we're teaching you this, the reason we're showing you this is we don't ever want to go back. And we need to show you that there is a reason for change to still occur. Yes. Is it going to be tough? Is it going to be hard? Yeah.
Right.
Is it going to be uncomfortable for everybody involved? It's not comfortable for me to hear those stories that you hear in those, man.
Right.
It brings up, we all have a memory. We all have a situation in our own lives where we experience racism. It takes you right back there. But we understand if we forget it, we don't talk about it, then we're just going to continue to go back in that cycle of it being able to happen again.
Yeah.
So we have to talk about it. Brushing it under the rug doesn't help. It just makes you feel better.
Right. And that's the
it.
thing is we're looking for an instant satisfaction of, okay, well, I don't have to read about it. Therefore, I don't feel guilty about it. Therefore, meh.
Everything's okay.
Yeah,
and it's
fine.
not.
Yeah.
Growth comes from pain.
I agree.
It does.
And also growth comes from exposure.
Yes.
Learning about it, you know, and reading about it firsthand. So, yeah, you know, obviously I know you know where we stand on the books, but it's great to see the author coming out supporting the teacher. That's a statement in itself.
Gotcha.
And the fact that they didn't even get up to speak, it wasn't about them.
That's what I like.
Yeah.
They didn't make it about, look at me.
Yep.
They were like, look at this teacher.
Yeah, look at this teacher.
Yeah.
I'm not taking away from her spotlight. That's amazing.
What was the outcome, by the way?
We don't have an outcome yet. They said they're still reviewing. So basically, they're waiting till the author leaves.
Yeah.
And then they can call them in behind closed doors, away from a public hearing, and go, by the way, you're fired. You know, I mean, that kind of stuff is exactly what they do. They don't want the public shame. They'd rather do it.
But that's the thing. If you want to avoid shame, then don't do wrong.
Yeah.
Come on.
Well, you know, there is a lot to be said by the fact that it's a law now. I think a lot of people now go, well, I can either go against the law or, you know, and if you go against the law, then, you know, who's to say some of these governors, they're very vindictive. And they might come after you, you know?
Yeah.
And, you know,
vindictive's a word. Yeah.
All right. This next one, this one bothers me a little bit. Houston ISD. Now, Houston, I think you may remember, had a little bit of a different direction this year when the government came in and took over. Do you remember that?
I don't.
They said it wasn't running correctly, and that they had too many missteps, and the government came in and took over and appointed people to run it. Well, apparently it's been leaked that by 2025, 2026, the schools will lose pretty much all of their autonomy, and Houston ISD teachers will be paid based on test scores almost exclusively.
Wow.
Yeah, there's a state-appointed superintendent. Now we have a state-appointed superintendent, not elected by the local board, who is elected by the people. This is the state appointed them. Apparently, they're going to do a massive plan where they're going to implement performance-based pay for all teachers, an earned autonomy model for campuses across the whole district. And apparently, they're going to overhaul it entirely based upon a pay-for-performance system on standardized test scores. We value high achievement, strong instructional practice, and apparently confirmed that the document does reflect the plans. And they said that they want students to do better, so they're holding teachers to their grades, and they're going to pay based on performance. Let me tell you right now, Houston ISD, you will have no teachers left. Nobody will want to teach in a pay-for-performance school district. We won't.
That's right.
Now, the reason we don't want to teach in a pay-for-performance school district is not because we have doubts about our performance as a teacher.
Nope.
We have doubts about your ability to set us up for success. That's how we feel about it. I've taught in schools that had bonuses based on pay for performance. The bonuses based on pay for performance were ridiculous to me because it was so skewed. I have 32 children in my class. And there's a difference in teaching 32 kids.
Absolutely.
And making an impact. And 12 kids.
That's right.
And making an impact.
Yes.
The fact that he could have his door open and you could see the kids talking in there and interacting. If I open my door, the rest of the school would not be able to concentrate because I've got 32 children going insane in my room and I'm trying to conduct a lesson.
Yes.
And you can classroom manage it all you want, but it's frustrating the way that worked. And not only that, but there's so many variables.
I was going to say that. Just thinking as a parent, there's so many variables. Your job is to instruct kids, and you guys do it with your hands tied behind your back. You don't have the support, you don't have the resources, and you also need a partnership with the parents.
Right.
It's our job. It starts at home to make sure those kids are doing the things that they're supposed to do at school, their classwork, studying for tests. You guys give us these automated systems. We can go on each day and see what our kids are missing.
Right.
You need that too. So you're saying, I need all these things to go right. It's like a space shuttle launch. I need all these different variables to go A-okay before I can even begin to be like, okay, I'm going to make money because it's based on my performance.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
How is that fair?
And not only that, I think about so many extra things that aren't even discussed. But like, what if a woman teacher is pregnant and has to go on maternity leave for 6 weeks and has somebody else fill in? And what if that's during testing time?
Yeah.
Is she being graded on the substitute's ability to administer the test and get these kids ready in crunch time? She didn't, she let her have her baby, Not only that, but I will give a personal example of why pay for performance really does not work. We had the hurricanes hit. And when the hurricanes hit, they swept through Puerto Rico and devastated Puerto Rico. Do you remember?
I do.
And do you know where the kids went? Here.
That's right.
And do you know that 2 weeks before we administered our exam, I had 25 new children register for my class?
That's insane.
2 weeks prior to registering for the exam, I had 25 kids come into my class. Most of them did not speak any English.
And they still had to take the test?
They sat down and they took the test.
That's crazy.
And do you know what happened to them? They left. Because guess what? The power got turned back on in Puerto Rico and they could leave the aunt's house in Florida and go back home to Puerto Rico.
But their test grades
stayed in my portfolio.
How's that even fair to you?
It's not fair. But guess what? Guess who didn't get my paper performance that year?
You.
I didn't teach that child.
No.
That child's score was entirely reflecting on wherever they came from.
That's right.
I had no impact on that.
None.
But it had my name on it. And so you sit there and you go, come on, this is just not going to work. The pay for performance model is a fail. I mean, absolutely a fail. I think anyways. But again, I'd love to know teachers' opinions. Let us know. Do you think pay for performance works? Maybe some teachers might go, yeah, sure. And I bet I know who you are. The IB teacher across from me with 12 kids. You're like, yeah, it's great. Actually, I love it. Rolling in money over here.
Gotcha.
All right. This last one is an interesting one. I wasn't expecting this. This one is in Alabama. Mobile County. And it's so weird. We say mobile. but when you're in Mobile,
It's
you say
Mobile.
Mobile.
It's Mobile.
Yeah. I wonder if it's actually how they pronounce it or if it's just a Southern accent.
Yeah.
Mobile.
Mobile.
You know, do they walk into like T-Mobile?
Yeah.
I don't know. But anyway,
Hank, I got to go down to the T-Mobile.
and I got to pay Mobile.
Yes, right.
But anyways, so the Mobile County Public Schools teachers are a little bit upset. Why are they upset? They haven't been paid.
Whoa, wait a minute.
Apparently, they missed a check. Now, this is the wild thing. There's been teachers that have been working this summer. There's also teachers that worked during the year and had holdback, and they've been waiting for a check. And apparently, there's a big Facebook group of all the teachers getting together going, hey, where's our money? And the Mobile County Education Association has said, guess what? It's going to be paid. You normally get paid once a month, but there's been an error. Payroll processing error. Now, this is my favorite thing in the entire world, okay? I love this, okay? When I read this, it blew my mind. Yes, teachers are supposed to be paid, but we don't give you an exact day we pay you.
Ooh, that probably went over well with everyone.
I bet it did. Yeah. So I thought that was hysterical. It said that it says, the school district spokesperson says the delay is the payroll processing issue, but there's never a specific date for when employees will be paid for the summer. Maybe let's get that one in the contract.
Yeah.
That's a good idea.
You mean all the other summers, like 10 years in a row, the same day we got paid?
We normally pay you now, but we don't tell you when we pay you.
Yeah, I never promised you it'd be that day.
And then the guy's like, my T-Mobile bill is due. I gotta pay this. I read that and it frustrated me even more. It's like, so even pay for performance. Well, guess what? HR isn't performing well. How's payroll processing performance? Are they getting paid based on me getting paid? Because that means they need to lose a little bit of notches, Mm-hmm. All right. Now, the last thing I want to talk about is not teachers in the news. This is the final thing I want to I told you I'd bring it around back to the Vegas teachers I met.
Okay.
I met a group of Vegas teachers after the show. They were delightful.
Okay.
Yep. They were awesome teachers. There was a few that they were just full of funny stuff. Sometimes after the shows, I hang around with teachers. I absolutely love hanging out with teachers. Mm-hmm. And let me tell you right now, it's not to talk teaching, it's for the material.
Nice.
I just like hearing the stories. Mm-hmm. Well, these teachers were from Vegas, and they were like, it's 114 now. They're like, guess what? We go back in a week.
Ugh.
Can you imagine what recess is like? Which I'll talk about in just a second. They said, but, we love our school. And they said, and guess what? You want some material? I was like, yeah, sure. Do you know what this school's name is?
Oh, God.
Wiener Elementary School. Is that not the worst name for a school? Mm-hmm. And apparently,
yeah, it is.
They were telling me during COVID, instead, to socially distance, instead of hey, handshake or hug, they throughout the school incorporated the wiener wave.
Okay.
Or they would wiener wave at each other.
Oh, we should never say that.
I know. I think we just got banned on YouTube.
Oh.
We're shadow banned on TikTok now.
How did this get through committee?
I don't know. But this is the thing they said, and this one might get deleted, but they said that there's 3 different schools in the school district. There's 2 Cox Elementaries and 1 Wiener Elementary. And I was like, who is naming these? Beavis and Butthead? Are they? I just was dying. I was like, you've got to be kidding me.
No one's raised a hand during the naming
yeah,
we shouldn't do this,
right? Then there's some guy at the school board meeting actually, I approve of it.
Yeah, it's a great name.
I think it's a wiener wave. That's what I do every morning.
Oh my God!
I just lost my mind,
man.
So when you're chatting it up with the teachers, I thought it was hysterical. But they also were like, it's different teaching in the desert, because recesses and things like that. Mm-hmm. And I got to thinking, what are the top 10 signs that you're teaching in the desert?
Okay.
The top 10 signs. Are you ready for them, James?
I am.
Number 10, helicopter parents don't exist in the desert because the air is too thin to take off.
I'm a clap for that.
I'm starting off with an easy one. Number 9, hear me out, teachers that want to find a new job. 3 words, Cave of Wonders. Find the lamp. I'm telling you, you're in the desert already. Just get the little beetle, have him guide you.
Scarab, there you go, man.
The scarab, that's it. Number 8, with used car prices, a camel may actually be a better form of transportation. I mean, who are we to,
one hump or two?
The teachers can only afford the one hump.
Yeah, that's true.
The 2 hump is luxury. All right, number 7, you don't mind staying late. Late is when the sun goes down. You're like, I'll be here all night, actually.
Yeah, it's fine.
As soon as the sun goes down, I will go home. Number 6, you don't have to worry about kids exhibiting PDA because they're like, it's too hot, don't touch me. No. Wiener wave. Wiener wave.
I'm going to leave that right there.
Right?
Yeah.
Number 5, you'll never have to break up fights if you teach in the desert because they get dehydrated after the first 2 punches. They're like, hey, man, you know what? We got to get along.
Yeah. Just hugging.
Yeah. Wiener wave. All right. Number 4.
Try it.
The PE teacher actually has the worst job in the school for once.
That's right.
It's the one time we don't envy them. You know, look at them outside playing soccer. I got it made in here. Standardized testing. Number 3, recess is simply playing Yahtzee for 30 minutes.
That's it.
That's it. We're not going out. Are you kidding me? Number 2 sign, you're a teacher in the desert. You only have to worry about the superintendent visiting your school once in December.
That's it.
They will never show up the rest of the time.
They're not.
No, I'm not going out there. And the number 1 way to tell you are a teacher teaching in the desert, your favorite podcast is called Dying in My Car. We had to change it up for that
one. Podcast for desert teachers.
Yeah, a podcast for desert. Dying on my camel. Wiener wave.
Live from Acrobar.
I love that movie, by the way.
So do I. Come on, man.
I will tell you, the first joke I remember as a child really genuinely cracking me up was the Tupperware.
Oh, yeah.
Where he goes, he goes, it's fresh.
Yeah.
I die. As a child, that was his funniest thing. Was the funniest thing I'd ever seen in my life.
There you go.
And I went around telling everybody that was the beginning of stand-up for me, I suppose. All right, James, how can people find you on tour, online, your show? What do they got?
Absolutely, man. 2 things. First off, my show, late night talk show, if you will, called The Lowdown. You can find it on Xfinity Comcast channel 1623, and you can follow me on social media. I made it easy for everyone. I changed it to both the same name, James Yan Comedian, on Instagram and Facebook. Keep following me, guys. I appreciate all the teachers out there and keeping your account private. Thank you.
Absolutely. Also, don't forget to check out devincomedy.com for upcoming tour dates, and I've been doing so much speaking in schools. I would love to come to your school as well.
Nice.
Give them a shout out. And one more thing that I would like to announce for James and I, because we're going to get rolling on this soon, but I figure we might as well announce it now. On Instagram, follow Theme Park Comedians.
Yes.
Theme Park Comedians. We're going to start doing some content in the theme parks. We love going to the theme parks. We want to make you guys laugh. So maybe you can follow us over there. If you like the show, you might like the comedy in the theme parks as well, doing some Disney Universal content. Yes.
Yes, because I'm new to riding roller coasters because I finally got over my fear, and I'm still afraid. So it might be crying in a roller coaster.
Yes. Absolutely.
So check it out.
Crying in my space mountain.
Yes.
All right. Thank you so much for tuning in. We'll be back next week with a brand new episode of Crying in My Car, a podcast for teachers. There might be a clip up there. There might be a clip down there. If it's got our face, if it's other people's stuff, come back. Don't click on that. But us. Suggested things, that's us. Crying in My Car. Devin, Siebold, James Yan, bored teachers, watch. New trailer for Indiana Jones. No, don't do that. Don't do that.